Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. All eyes were on Anfield as Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool prepared to host Zidane's Real Madrid in the Champions League. Coming in with a 3-1 deficit, Liverpool were hoping to pull off another improbable comeback. But in the end, the game finished in a stalemate, 0-0, meaning that Real advanced to face Chelsea in the semi-final. The XG indicated that Liverpool created their fair share, but couldn't finish when it counted. But what tactics did both Klopp and Zidane use? Let's take a look. First, a reminder of both teams' formations, as Zidane and Klopp opted for 4-3-3s, as you can see on screen now, courtesy of our wonderful sponsor, the OneFootball app. OneFootball is the best app to keep up with your favorite teams and players, giving you news, stats, match updates, and so much more, absolutely free through the link in the description below. Let's start with what Liverpool did on the ball, as they were more proactive. Liverpool built up short, as Real did not press immediately from the goal kick, as already ahead in the tie, they didn't need to take risks. But earlier on in the game, we would see Real push higher up at times, with Benzema looking to cut off the horizontal passing lane, and Liverpool's fullback would have to drop deeper to provide the passing option at times, thus forcing Liverpool to play in deeper regions. So Fabinho was key in this first phase, dropping between the centre-backs, and this 3 versus 1 would make it almost impossible for Benzema to press alone, whilst also allowing the fullbacks to push up higher. And we see Fabinho's deep position in the average positions. In these situations, Real looked to initially switch to a 2-man press, to not allow the Reds to play out too easily, and they had some success at times. But of course, the extra man would mean that Real were always outnumbered, and one man would have more time on the ball. This is made worse as it left only 2 men in midfield, and Firmino often dropped from his centre forward role, so Real were outnumbered in 2 regions at once, so the press could then be broken. Although crucially, whenever Firmino did drop deeper, Real's centre-backs never fell into the trap of trying to stay tight on him and moving out of position, leaving gaps in behind, and instead maintained their defensive solidity. So Real began to sit deeper to avoid Liverpool advancing higher by breaking this first line of pressure, and instead they would shape up in a deeper 4-5-1 or a 4-4-1-1, with Toni Kroos often pushing higher to sit on Fabinho or Wijnaldum. And this is where Real defended particularly well, as they would generally try to minimize the space between the lines initially, especially when the wide men tucked in, allowing the fullbacks high. But rather than be completely passive in defense, as soon as a Liverpool man looked to receive in zone 14, a Real midfielder would be snapping at his heels, making it difficult for him to turn. Liverpool looked to adapt in the second half, with the change to the 4-2-3-1. Crucially, now, Nat Phillips would carry the ball higher into the midfield, to look to draw a Madrid man and free a pass onto the inside, where a Liverpool man would now have more space to play, and this did work at times. But when Real were under heavy pressure, Benzema became an auxiliary forward, looking to even up the numbers and nullify this advantage. And Liverpool generally overloaded the centre, which freed up their wings. However, where they are normally so proficient at getting numerous numbers attacking pinpoint crosses, that didn't quite happen in this match, helped by the impenetrable duo of Nacho and Militao. As a result, Liverpool often tried to penetrate a crowded centre with intricate passes, but often to no avail. And as Liverpool pushed on, Real saw their chance on the transition. With Trent having pushed high, it often meant that Vinicius would be isolated against Phillips, who isn't the quickest, so a ball in behind from midfield could bear fruit, leading to some good positions. But what did Real look to do in more controlled phases? Real would drop both of their centre-backs into the box and look to begin short. However, from early on, Liverpool looked to press high, with Salah and Mane ready to move on to the centre-backs, whilst Firmino sat on Casemiro. A crucial difference compared to the first leg is when the ball would be played past this first line of pressure into the free fullback, Liverpool's wider central midfielders were quick to close down the fullback to prevent them from progressing and creating a 2 versus 1 against their fullback. So to play past the pressure, Real would look to push Kroos deeper to act as the second pivot alongside Casemiro and be another passing option. But Liverpool was steadfast in their pressing game, with Wijnaldum looking to go man-to-man with Kroos to cut off that option as well. But Real did find some success down the left-hand side. Benzema was a fairly mobile forward and liked to move out towards the left region in support of Vinicius, as you can see in his heat map. And because Wijnaldum was more often pressing the dropping Toni Kroos, he couldn't as effectively cover Mendy as Milner did with Valverde on the left-hand side. Add to this Salah pressing high, it meant that Vinicius could at times receive the ball in this region, which would draw Trent higher. This would then present the perfect opportunity for a 1-2 with Benzema, making the most of Vinicius's running in behind. Alternatively, we could see Mendy receive in this zone behind the first line of midfield pressure and look to advance the team higher up the pitch with his running. They often got into good situations in this way, and Mendy would often make the move into the half space to make the most of Vinicius' dribbling in a potential 1 versus 1 out wide. However, in this game, we saw some of Vinicius' weaknesses show, as once again, he would do well in the build-up, but make errors when it came to making the final pass or having the final shot. Overall, Zidane will be happy with the resoluteness his side showed defensively across the 2 legs. Klopp, on the other hand, has bemoaned Liverpool's finishing this season, and it came back to bite them once again. But what did you make of the match? Drop it down in the comments below, and what are your predictions for the 2 semi-final ties? A quick shout out to my Patreons for helping to make this video possible. If you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple and you'll get rewards like early access to videos and exclusive content. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.